Judgment in the Matric exam rewrite case will be handed down today. Government argues matriculants will lose the entire academic year if rewrites of 2 leaked papers don't go ahead. Afriforum, SATU and others took the Basic Education Department to court following the announcement that Maths Paper 2 and Physical Science Paper 2 will be rewritten next week. All right, let's get some views from some role players to that court ruling expected later in the day. Afriforum's Natasha Venter joins us now live. Thank you very much, Natasha, for joining us here on eNCA. Now, firstly, your argument was that the Basic Education Department was put under pressure by Umalusi. Why do you say that?
Well, from the arguments, and the judge actually put it very nicely. He asked at the start of the case who took the decision, because he couldn't determine from the court papers, was it Umalusi who took the decision or the Department of Basic Education who is supposed to take the decision between the Minister and the Director General, because it seems that Umalusi put pressure on the department, stating that they would not certify the matric exam or the matric certificates if they did not commission a rewrite. And we feel that this decision by Umalusi was premature, because they should only decide that 3 months after the exams have been written and the matric certificates are ready to be issued. So that leaves very little time for investigation into the matter, into the leaks, to determine which students did indeed see the papers beforehand. And now to punish everybody throughout the board is simply, to us, it does not make sense. So we say the department should focus on finding those who did indeed cheat, and that they should be punished accordingly, not the more than or almost 400,000 students who acted honestly in writing their matric exams.
3 months, Natasha. Don't you think that would be too long if the results, for instance, are coming out early next year? 3 months would be at the end of February, beginning March. And if you're a matric pupil and you have this hanging over your head, and then you find out probably in 3 months that you have to rewrite, wouldn't that be more stress on the matriculants?
No, we understand that point as well, but the department commissioned an interim report in this case where they found that only 200 pupils had access to the matric paper. And within 6 days to determine now that everyone has to rewrite is a bit extreme, and we feel it's like using a 10-pound hammer to kill a fly. So there are more sophisticated ways to determine which students did indeed have access. So focus on those students, and then if they have done a comprehensive investigation and they could pinpoint the students, then Umalusi should have no reason not to commission the matric certificates within 3 months' time.
What's your reaction to their argument that this would put the National Senior Certificate into disrepute if they just went ahead and got on as if nothing happened?
Well, you know what, the arguments were also from the department side and Umalusi that the social media spread, that they could not contain it. But you know what, social media is going to be with us for a very long time. It's not going to disappear somewhere in the close future. So every time now that exam paper is leaked, this is the precedent that they're setting. Now everyone has to rewrite every paper that leaks because of social media. And that does not make sense. There are ways to determine which students did have access. For example, we also had an expert in our application who drafted a report stating that you can look at previous marks and then compare it to the final mark, and then with some accuracy determine whether a student had access or cheated in the exam paper. So that should rather be followed instead of through the board telling everyone now they have to rewrite. As we know, it's been a very extremely stressful year for all the students and the teachers, and to put this extra pressure on them now is just unfair.
Now, of course, you know, looking at the fact that you're talking about the stress on the pupils, for instance, you know, right now with the court case having taking place and them not knowing whether or not they'll be able to write or they'll have to write next week is also something that is going to be very stressful for them, because they don't know whether or not they should start studying or let it go.
Yes, well, I would rather have the court case and know that I don't have to write, and in the meantime, sharpen up my skills than no one doing anything, and then it prejudices me as a matric pupil when I have to write in any case. So rather that there is someone taking action to fight this unfair decision by the department to ensure that something like this does not happen in future again. We'd also like to know from the department what are they going to do to ensure that something like this does not happen again, because, as I said, we can't have a rewrite every single time that a paper is leaked.
And that's definitely true. But don't you think perhaps this time maybe they're trying to use this, because they're saying that it's the first time that it's been spread on social media. Usually it would be contained to a certain province or even a certain town. But this time it was widespread across all 9 provinces because of the sharing of it on a social media platform. So maybe they're trying to teach a lesson that, you will go punished if this happens again.
Yes, and of course, those who are guilty should be punished, but not those students who acted honestly. So they should definitely pinpoint those students who had access to the exam paper and who did cheat. They should not gain unfair benefit from this. But to punish everyone for the sins of a few is just ludicrous to us.
Well, thank you very much. We'll leave it right there. That's Afriforum's Natasha Venter talking about that Education Department's decision for that rewrite, that decision coming out of court later this afternoon.